Colleges and universities in Ontario are in full swing of their new provincial government-mandated free speech policy.
All colleges and universities in Ontario needed to have a free speech policy in place by January 1st, which Sheridan has done. And our policy was written together as a collective with the other 24 colleges in Ontario.
Premier Doug Ford demanded the changes to expand the protection of free speech back in August, stating that any speech that violates the law or Ontario Human Rights Code is not allowed. Thus, the province's 24 colleges collectively created the same policy, whereas universities opted for their own individual codes. And Sheridan Chief of Communications Officer Christine Sustacek says the colleges modeled their policy after the University of Chicago.
The government further directed that the freedom of speech policies that we all had to adopt needed to be based largely upon an existing, well-known freedom of speech policy called from the University of Chicago, called the University of Chicago Statement of Principles on Freedom of Expression. And that policy, as does ours, really helps to define what freedom of speech is, and it defines it as the ability to speak, write, listen, learn, and challenge.
Though Sheridan already had a free speech policy in place before the Ontario PCs mandated a change, this time the policy has a clearer stance on allowing free speech as well as allowing opposing views.
It also clearly states that students have the right to contest views of others, but that they also have to respect that people don't share the same views and that we all have the ability to share the views that are important to us.
Whether or not students were aware of the new policy, they say that having freedom of speech is incredibly valuable to their education.
A person can have a choice to say, express their opinions and, ask questions.
The school is like a huge part of people's lives. People got to drop like so much money on it. It's important for the students to be able to voice their opinions, especially to people who are like higher up in the school, because we're the ones who have to deal with the decisions they make every day.
I believe it's important for students to share their opinions freely as long as it's positive and as long as it contributes to society.
The new policy will allow for better tracking of free speech complaints and incidents, and that data will be amalgamated and accessible at the beginning of every school year, starting this September. For Halton News, I'm Natalie Stoberman.